Greetings, I am Tantus now of Dracovin, Lord and Emperor of the Dracovin Empire, and welcome. Today we're going to continue our discussion on Vampire the Masquerade. So, where did we leave off? We left off talking about the world. Today we're going to learn about making the concept part of your character and choosing its attributes. So let's talk about the concepts. Now the concept's divided into a couple of things you're going to choose. First one is your actual concept. Now the concept, you have to think of it, the base concept you're going to choose for your character is the job or sort of organization, how you were in the human world. It could be exactly a job. It could be just something sort of like you fit into it. They give a general category and some various things in that category. You could be like an entertainer. An entertainer could have been like a poet, a movie star. And the thing is, because you might be a very old vampire instead of a new one, instead of being born more in the modern day, you could have been born in like the medieval era, then that means you might choose an older sort of concept that you start out with. Maybe you were a knight at one time, an actual knight. Well, once you've chosen your concept, it's time to choose your clan. Now I talked about the 7 base clans, I've given a bit of information on them. There are actually 6 more major clans and a number of smaller bloodlines. There are really supposed to be 13 clans and a number of bloodlines. Now what do each of these do? Well, first off, each of these have their own organization, their own hierarchy, their own way of doing things. So when you read up on these clans, you'd learn a little bit about how you would fit into this sort of subset of vampire society. It's like a subset within the major set of the Camarilla, or whatever major organization your character is a member of. Now clans do give you something else. Each clan has some base powers or disciplines, as they're called. The vampiric clan powers are called disciplines, which they have access to. Now you can learn other ones. Most likely you're going to need someone to teach it to you, but each clan has or bloodline has their own 3, which they start choosing from. These are the base ones that they're going to know about and they can use. Now you can be clanless, or as they're called, catif, meaning you don't have a clan, you sort of have this diluted blood, you're not connected to any of these. They have their own rules for the base disciplines you choose. It would be a little more open. You couldn't still choose everything, and learning new ones would still be sort of a little more difficult. There is rules for it. It sort of balances out that you're somewhere in the middle between all the other clans. It's good and bad to be clanless, because also you're sort of looked down on in the society regardless because you don't have a clan. Granted, in something like the Camarilla, you can still find a place, but everyone else will sort of judge you because you don't have that sort of family bond of a clan. Now the final thing for the concept section is choosing your nature and demeanor. Now nature is how you really are, how you are on the inside. It's a big personality trait as part of you. The advantage of choosing this, it's a way of gaining back willpower from your willpower pool. I haven't really talked about it, and I will later on. You can spend some of your willpower temporarily to get things done, to help you assist you in combat, in making skill checks, things like that. Now, to regain that temporarily used, you have to do things within your nature, and that helps you regain it. Now, demeanor is optional. Demeanor is how you act to the world. That means it's how you portray your personality. So you might be something on the inside, but you might be something else. Like you could be shy and meek on the inside, but act very boisterous to the world, to show off yourself, where you're really feeling bad. Now, demeanor, as I said, is optional. I usually like to choose it because it adds a little dimension to a character. Well, after we've done concepts, let's talk about the attributes. When we start talking about attributes, we have to talk about how the system tracks numbers in it. When you look at the character sheet, there are open dots, usually from 1 to 5, at the end of everything. Each of these dots represents a rank in that. Now for the attributes, you get an automatic 1 in each of these. It's free. That means you have all these attributes. It means you don't have any of them that are unexistent. You have a strength. You don't have a 0 in strength. So they're giving you an automatic 1, so you don't have to spend points in it. You go from 1 to 5, 5 being the normal maximum. Now there are rules for going above 5 for various things, but you're probably not going to do it in many characters. It's going to be specialized times where you go above 5 for anything. So what are the 9 attributes? Well, they're divided into 3 columns: physical, social, and mental. The physicals are strength, dexterity, and stamina. The social are charisma, manipulation, and appearance. And the mental are intelligence, wits, and perception. Strength is, of course, strength. Dexterity is, how lithe you are, shooting a gun, dodging. Stamina is absorbing damage, taking hits, resisting things. Charisma is your force of personality, how you can act to attract people. Manipulation is how you can trick people, manipulate them, get them to do your stuff. Appearance is how well you look, how good you look, how attractive you are on the outside. Intelligence is your general intelligence, how smart you are. Wits is, being clever, witty, noticing something. It might be during an investigation, you use more wits than intelligence. And of course, perception is how perceptive you are, how much you notice things around you. Now, how do I choose these points? Well, you choose priority between these three columns. You choose primary, secondary, and tertiary priority. What do these mean? If I choose primary priority, it means I get 7 dots to split between that area. So if I chose my physical to be my primary, I'd have 7 dots to split in here. I could put 4 into strength, 3 into dex, none into stamina, so I'd have a 5, 4, and 1. That would be how I could do it. Or I could put my primary in mental, or I could put it in social. I put 7 dots, whichever is my primary. In my secondary, I put 5 dots. And in my tertiary, I put 3. So the tertiary one, unless you're going to be vastly great at something, you're going to go with straight 2s. 2 is average. 2 is human average, 1 is below average, 5 is the greatest you have to think of it as. These are the basic numbers. So if you have 2 in anything, you're average. Below that, you're below average. Above that, you're getting better and better at it, up to the 5. So as I said, that's how you split the points in. You choose these number of dots and split them between each of these 3 columns. Once you've chosen these, you're going to move on to the next section of your character. But that's it for today. We'll talk about the rest of these sections. We'll talk about a few more in the next episode. So if you have any questions or comments, anything you want to talk about, leave them in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video and learned something, please leave a like. Please subscribe if you already haven't. It's a good way of showing your support, and we're always looking for more citizens of the Empire. Please share this video if you know anybody that would learn something from it, would enjoy it, that sort of thing. And until the next time, I bid you farewell.